I'm not supposed to be in this.
From our cozy little love nest in our RV. It's been quite a day for the McKinneys. I had some complications of my ACL surgery that happened May 1st, so my body just didn't get the memo to stop making scar tissue, and it's been, range of motion has not, returned as expected. So I went under anesthesia today so she could kind of physically break all up the scar tissue. I've been trying to do that in PT, but we kind of hit a wall. So it's been a long road, still not done, but I'm hopeful that this is just another step closer to full healing. We also today, I'm emotional because it's just been a long day. We had to be at the hospital at 6 a.m. and we also coincidentally had our hearing for our property taxes that we were contesting for the museum. If you know Brian and I well, you know a lot of details about our story and just the museum. And even if you don't know us well, you may have seen Facebook posts that I've made over the last few years. Just this is a God-given assignment, and we have faced so much adversity. It's been challenge after challenge. He does not promise us it will be easy. In fact, he promises we'll have many trials, but to take heart because he's overcome the world. And so we know what we're doing is right. We definitely don't feel released. But that being said, that's why we're in an RV now. We had to give up our beautiful home in Whispering Hollow, and we're living in an RV on the property because our property taxes went up so much. And Brian's going to do a video too, just to kind of share more of like not all the things, but more of the financial perspectives and the political things that go into it, where mine is more the heart and how it affects the people. So to say we're all in is like effective, but it also just seems not enough. There have been blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into this project, and we've seen a lot of blessing, and we've seen the impact that it has on people's minds and hearts, and that it goes deep, and it's wonderful, and it's beautiful, but it's still hard, and it's still every day. The days are long. So we went to we just got done a couple months ago paying off our property taxes that had tripled or quadrupled?
Almost 4.5 times.
Almost 4.5 times what they were the year before. And yes, we developed property, so we expect an increase. But to give you a picture, we're a brand new company. We're not even 2 years old yet, really. We netted $4,500 last year, and our property taxes were almost $20,000. We asked them if we could set up a payment plan. They said, sure. Yeah, it's 11% the first month, 14% the second month, on and on. And we're like, that's not a payment plan, that's a penalty. So we went to protest, and let's just say it just wasn't favorable. And we both just left there heartbroken. But God in His grace, God reminded me that He is still on the throne, that none of this is a surprise to Him, and that He is still working all things together for us, because we love Him and we're doing what He's asked us to do. So no matter what it looks like, even if it looks different from what we had initially thought, we know that He is the great I Am. We know that He is more than able to do anything that we could ask, think, or imagine. More than. So I'll just share in His tenderness how He did that today. I know that it's like crazy going straight from the hospital when I just woke up from anesthesia, and then I'm going to this office My leg is numb. Brian practically had to carry me in there. And we waited 3 hours for it was like 2 hours past our appointment time. And it was crowded. The office was crowded. And this man was visibly upset, was asked to provide paperwork so the council board, whatever the title is, could put it on a projector. Well, he had a hissy fit, and he ended up just taking out his anger on this precious girl working at the counter. And he said a racial slur to her. It was disgusting. And the police officer stepped in, and he left. He said he was coming back, and she left. When she came back, you could tell she was crying. And all the women in the office, like when she came back, were like kind of around her, just kind of making sure she was okay. And you could tell she'd been crying. And her supervisor, I think, asked, like, hey, do you need to take a break? And she said, no, I'm good. And so I didn't want to make a scene, but I knew the Lord was leading me to go just speak life over her. And I asked Brian to help me, like, hobble over there. And so I asked her what her name was. And I asked her if I could take her hand. And I just looked at her, and I took her hand in mine, and I said her name, which I will keep private. You are special. You are precious. You are so strong, and you're such a hard worker. And I also said, and I'm hoping that the Lord just sends conviction in that man's heart and mind, and that he has a change of heart. And I'm also praying that he won't come back in here today. And she cried, and she said thank you, and I went back to my seat, and then it was our turn to go in, and we got our devastating news. But when we left, she was like, have a blessed day. And I know that he asked me to just encourage her. So for that reason, I know that even if for us it felt like it was pointless and fruitless, because we didn't get the income we were wanting or expecting or had hoped for, I was right where I needed to be today. And we went to eat later, because our stomachs were eating our backbones. And I sat down and I checked my email, and I don't know how I got signed up for this email, but it gets sent at random times. It's like a devotional of sorts, and I'm gonna put in the comments of this what that email said, and I just burst into tears because of what it said, and the time that it was delivered, and everything. It just confirmed, that we're seen, we're loved, and that God is still on the throne. So I hope that this encourages somebody. We just feel like it's time to start talking about how our county is not supportive of the mom and pop shop, because it doesn't make enough money for them, and it seems like it's not worth it. And our hearts are broken because Brian is homegrown, born and raised here. We've raised a family here. I've been here 10 years, and it feels like they are pushing away mom and pop. And it feels like you can't buy land here and sustainably, stay there unless you're a multi-million-dollar company. And everybody says all the time, oh, I want to shop local. Oh, I want to support local. And that's wonderful. And I think a lot of people do. But when it's the government that's pretty much against it, even if they say they're not, their policies and procedures and taxes do say that. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Love y'all. Thanks for listening.
Hey, so to give you guys a business perspective, since I've owned businesses the past 16 years or so. So long story short, they wanted $1.6 million, which was up almost $650,000 from last year. And that tax amount would be roughly $11,000 on top of what the $18,000 we paid last year. So $29,000. The business netted 45, like Rachel had said. We used that 45 as a down payment on the $18,000 last year, and we had to make payments until we sold our house. And once January 31st hits, that's the last day, it's 11% in February, 13% in March, 15% in April, and it's 17% until you pay the loan off. So, so long story short, 2/3 of our properties in a 100-year floodplain. We pay flood insurance. Part of the buildings in the floodplain. We've dealt with 2 back-to-back summers with extreme heat waves that we've never seen before. Every summer seems to be a record-breaking summer. And we're transitioning our business to more indoor activity. We made the deal with pinballs. We're leasing a really nice arcade from them. We spent all the money we made last summer and we put it into an indoor miniature golf course, and now we're looking to put indoor golf simulators in. So, Rachel and I and our business partner have not taken a dime from the business in over a year. And they lowered, after spending 3 hours waiting for our turn past the time, our 11:55 appointment. We explained all this stuff to them. We only had 5 minutes to explain our story, and then we had a 2-minute rebuttal about one property that's not in a floodplain that sold for $988,000 undeveloped. And that's what they base their thing on. So, they lowered it from 1.6 to 1.285, which even so is still a little over $300,000. And at this rate, for 1 or 2 more years, if business doesn't pick up and we can't figure it out, we're going to have to sell the property. And the next person may put a liquor store here, convenience store, something that doesn't honor veterans, that doesn't honor God, that doesn't bring families together to have an enjoyable experience, could just bulldoze this place and put it there. And I think that's the most saddening part of this whole experience. And we don't want to sell it. We want to honor our greatest generation and our Vietnam and Korean War vets. And, we're not in this to make a ton of money. If that was it, we wouldn't have done this. We're just in it for the community, show our kids that, there's honorable businesses out there, but clearly the county sees differently. So, any type of support, spreading this, sharing this with judges, city councilmen, anything that can help us in our effort to lower the taxes, an attorney that specializes in this that's willing to help us out for half off fee or pro bono or something, would be much appreciated. Love you guys, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon. Thanks.